Welcome to Synagogues of Delaware. We'll start out in Claymont and Congregation Machzikei Hadas. It shares the same address as a B'nai B'rith Senior Citizens building. There is no other information on this congregation, so we wonder if it is an in-house synagogue service for the Jewish residents in this senior citizens residential building subsidized by B'nai B'rith. The situation is more certain in Dover and Congregation Beth Shalom. The congregation has been around since 1946, and this building shown here was dedicated in 1963. Shabbat services are held Friday evenings and Saturday mornings, but Saturday morning services are suspended during the summer months. The hired rabbi leads services only once a month. The rest of the month it is conducted by lay leaders and teenagers. The conservative congregation has more than 100 members, and its rabbi is Peggy D. Prophetess. Our next stop is in Newark. No, not New Jersey. Remember, we're in Delaware. And you're looking at the Chabad House of the University of Delaware. Rabbi Eliezer Snyderman is its director. His assistant is Rabbi Yisrael Matusov. Being a campus-oriented facility, some of the services it provides is the student lounge, Shabbat prayer services, and kosher provisions. There's another Jewish house of worship in Newark. It's Temple Bethel, a Reconstructionist synagogue. Other than the summer, there is usually a Friday night and Saturday morning Shabbat service. During the summer, Friday night and Saturday morning services are alternated between weeks. Mika Becker-Klein is the rabbi. The congregation was founded in 1954 and moved into the current building in September of 1984. Rehoboth Beach, or I prefer to say Rehoboth Beach, sounds like a seaside community in Israel. So it makes sense to say that it hosts a seaside Jewish community synagogue. It's affiliated with the Jewish Renewal Movement. Beth Esther Cohn is its rabbi. It started out informally in 1990 and claims to now have a membership roll of more than 200 people, including vacationers. That brings us to the largest city in Delaware with a population of only about 71,000. But there are a handful of synagogue operations in this city. The first that we're looking at is Adas Kodesh Shel Emet. It identifies as a traditional synagogue. Stephen Sachs is the rabbi. It has a daily minyan both morning and evening, and two of those mornings are held in joint service with another congregation in Wilmington, Beth Shalom. One of the days the services are held at Beth Shalom, the other at this congregation. The congregational name underlines a merger between two earlier Orthodox synagogues, which took place in 1957. The building shown here was dedicated in 1963, along with subsequent renovations. In this case, the traditional tag more closely resembles to its post-World War II through a millennial definition of a hybrid of Orthodox and conservative customs. The prayer service on Saturdays reflects the full Orthodox tradition. Many synagogues call themselves traditional, but they are really egalitarian conservative. They use the term to distinguish themselves from Reconstructionists as well as Reform, to market themselves to those who are interested in a more traditional form of prayer service but not Orthodox. There is a fully Orthodox service or congregation in the Brandywine Hills section of Wilmington. It is aptly named the Brandywine Hills Minyan. Its rabbi is Joel Kessler. We won't show you the facility because the address is identified as a residential home with a for sale sign on it. We do know that the congregation was formally founded in 2012. Its current intention is to provide services only for Shabbat and holidays. It operates as a Jewish outreach program. And not to slight Chabad, there is Chabad Lubavitch of Delaware, another Orthodox facility. Its director is Rabbi Chuni Vogel, and his assistant is Rabbi Matti Flickstein. Services are held on a daily basis, both morning and evening. The Chabad House also supervises a mikveh that is at a separate location. We move along to Beth Emet. Its spiritual leader is Rabbi Yair D. Robinson, and its Rabbi Emeritus is Peter H. Grumbacher. Shabbat services are held both Friday evenings and Saturday mornings, but the format varies depending on the week of the month. The congregation translates its name into English as Temple of Truth. It was formed in 1905. The identity crisis for solidifying the practices of the congregation came to a head in 1922, with those looking for a more traditional format broke away and created Congregation Beth Shalom, a conservative synagogue. This led the congregation of the Temple of Truth to formalize the more liberal Reform affiliation. The building shown here was completed in 1954, but there has been subsequent renovations. We believe this to be the original site of Beth Emet. It was built in 1908 and used until the mid-1950s. The temple's social hall and school building was across the street, but it was subsequently torn down. This brings us to our final stop in Wilmington and the state of Delaware, Congregation Beth Shalom. We previously identified it as a conservative synagogue that was a breakaway from Temple Beth Emet and that shares services twice a week with a more traditional congregation. Michael S. Beals is rabbi. As we said earlier, it was formed in 1922 and claims to now have more than 400 members. This wraps up our visit to the state of Delaware and its Jewish presence. More states of the Union to follow. So, bye for now and see you soon.